the organ harvesters of the border zone. Episode 5, The Farmhouse Basement. There's a particular kind of silence you find in rural places, not the peaceful kind, the oppressive kind, the kind that presses against the windows, settles deep into the soil, and waits. When border agents stumbled onto the farmhouse, they weren't looking for anything unusual, not officially, anyway. The report says they were following up on a noise complaint. A noise complaint. In a region where the nearest neighbor lived 11 kilometers away. I've been doing this a long time. When a document uses the wrong excuse, that's how you know something real happened. The farmhouse sat alone at the end of a dirt road, half-collapsed porch, dust-coated windows, paint worn to raw wood. From the outside, it looked like a place abandoned decades ago. Inside, it was very much in use. The agents found the front door unlocked, living room untouched except for a thin film of dust, kitchen empty, upstairs rooms stripped to their frames. But the smell was strongest near the back of the house. Metallic, sharp, chemical, like cold steel left soaking in old blood. One agent described it later as standing in a butcher shop. But the meat was wrong. They found the basement door half hidden behind a cabinet that looked recently pushed aside. The lock had been removed, not broken, just removed, unscrewed cleanly from the wood. That suggested two things. Someone wanted easy access. They didn't plan on leaving the door unlocked for long. The stairs creaked under their boots. The smell grew heavier with every step, so thick it clung to their clothing. Their flashlights swept the walls first. Hooks, not decorative ones, industrial ones, fixed into wooden beams at shoulder height, spaced evenly like something was meant to hang in rows. Opposite them, a line of metal tables, surgical grade, stainless steel, not something you find in an old farmhouse unless someone put them there deliberately. One table was stained a dark, almost black color. Dried fluid pooled around its edges, forming a crust that cracked under the light. There were restraints on the legs, thick, padded, stained. A bowl of used instruments sat beside it. Forceps, clamps, scalpels, some wrapped in crumpled packaging, some not. None of the instruments were rusted, meaning they had been used recently. But the worst thing wasn't the tables, or the hooks, or the drains cut into the concrete floor. It was the freezer, a walk-in unit. Too large for personal use, industrial. Power line rerouted directly from a generator outside the window. The door was slightly ajar, not enough to see inside. Enough to let cold air drift out into the warm basement like a dying breath. The agents opened it slowly, guns raised. Inside were stacks of labeled bags hanging from rails, each one tagged with a date, a code, a temperature range, and a letter corresponding to an organ type. But none of the labels included donor names, just numbers, people reduced to catalog entries. At the bottom of the freezer was a tray with a single sealed container, fogged from the cold. On its lid, written in marker, "Return, do not process." Do not process, meaning someone rejected the organ, not because it was obtained illegally, but because it was low-quality merchandise. The reports don't say which organ it was. The agents do, But that detail stays in my archive drawer, not here. Some things you don't repeat aloud. But the freezer wasn't the only thing they found. Near the stairs, hidden behind crates filled with saline bags, was a small digital recorder. Still running, still recording. They played it back in the basement. They shouldn't have. Here is a transcript of what survived. Metal clinking, a humming generator, footsteps, a voice, male, calm. Stabilize the airway, he's conscious again. Another voice, female, irritated. He wasn't supposed to be. Increased dose. A choking sound, a struggle, something heavy hitting metal. Male voice, hold him still. We need the window. Female voice, we won't get it. He's failing. A pause, a long one. Someone breathing hard. Male voice, then mark it discard. Move to the next. Then faintly, in the background, dash, dash. A voice too weak to fully form words. A whimper, a plea, a sound that didn't belong to someone unconscious. The agent stopped the recording there. One vomited. One had to leave the basement entirely. One kept listening. The audio continued. Steps. A door opening. Liquid being poured. A new voice, older, speaking in a clipped business-like tone. Next load arrives in 11 hours. Prep the tables. Collectors want full inventory this cycle. Collectors. Always that word, always in the places you wish you hadn't looked. The farmhouse should have become a crime scene. Instead, within hours, men from an unnamed agency arrived. Their badges didn't match any known department. Their vehicles had blacked out plates. They took everything, the recorder, the instruments, the documents, the bags from the freezer, the generator, even the restraints. They told the local police the site was now under federal jurisdiction. Within 2 days, the farmhouse burned down. Electrical fault, they said. No survivors and no evidence except one of the agents had copied the audio file onto his personal phone before handing it over. An act of defiance or guilt or fear. He sent that file to someone he trusted, and that someone sent it to me. What bothered me most wasn't the horror of the basement. It wasn't the equipment. It wasn't the cold, methodical way those voices spoke. It was the timing. 11 hours. Not sometime tomorrow. Not when they're ready. A precise scheduled delivery, like livestock, like shipments, like a supply chain. Someone was moving human beings with the precision of freight. The farmhouse was just one node in a network, a temporary site used before larger transfers, a spoke in a wheel that never stops turning. And the mention of collectors confirmed something I'd only suspected before. There are people whose job isn't to perform the surgeries or run the clinics or pay for the organs. Their job is to collect, to find the bodies that meet the criteria, to gather them, to deliver them, and judging by the calm, efficient tone in that recording, they'd done it many, many times. Next episode, we look at the collectors themselves, who they are, where they came from, and why anyone who sees their faces never seems to speak again. If they're human, they're the kind that forgot they were.